Hey guys, Luna here, and welcome back to our life. Now, last we left off, we ended off with the epilogue, and I think between all of this, I think I'm going to go with Baxter first, just because he was the first one that I was trying for, at least. In between. There's a lot of... It's also interesting the default to that, which is kind of funny. Yeah. Also a tattoo along my back and on my arm. Yep, that's still the same. Feelings for Cove. Yeah. I mean... Oh, I did not mean to do that. I have to redo this stuff. That should be the same. Fairfax, leg, and arm. Actually, no. Back and arm. Sure. Oh, he's definitely very different for this kind of thing. Sure, I'll keep this. I'm just kind of curious. Studious and warm. Sure, I'll do a high initiative. And so your days of growing up in the loving cradle of Sunset Bird came to an end. In the years that passed into graduation, you moved out of your childhood home and made your way in the world. You... lived with 8 pets, and you... had multiple ways of earning income in the gaming industry. Your family members went through the same kinds of leaps into their independence. Liz and Lee both eventually earned degrees and started fantastic careers in their new hometowns, but your mom's and Cove's father still lived in the same street as they had for all those years before. It was comforting that there were some things that remained in the old neighborhood. And despite the ever-changing reality in your adult life, your friends were still your friends, though, of course, things weren't exactly the same for them either. Very recently, Terry publicly came out as a man and switched the spelling of his name to use a Y instead of an I. He also confessed his love for Miranda, which she excitedly reciprocated. They moved in together recently in the city out past Sunset Bird. Derek was as busy, but doing well. He always made an effort to keep in touch, and you even saw each other in person occasionally. For the person who left the town and you behind, you called and texted, but Baxter never answered. But you look back on those summer days fondly now. With some time and perspective, you could appreciate the good parts and forgive the sour ending notes. It seemed like your notes and feelings would go unheeded by him for the rest of your life. And then there was what became of the sad little boy you grew up with, Cove Holden. Your deep affection for him was something that continued to last unabated over the years. And luckily, things worked out for the two of you to still live pretty close by. He truly thrived in his continued efforts of cultivating loving and supportive relationships with his family and friends. His personality had changed, becoming more open than ever before. Cove was a warm, inviting, considerate man who took the lessons he learned over the years to treat the people around him with patience and understanding. When Cove eventually developed a picture of the future he wanted to have as an adult, it made perfect sense to you based on his interests. He went to college to study marine biology. His ultimate goal was to start becoming a natural research technician, and still volunteered with Orca when his workload allowed it. As an adult, Cove also was able to recognize and have diagnosed that he was on the autism spectrum. Interesting. It was something that hadn't been noticed by his doctors as a child, but he was still the same Cove as he was to you, and he was just glad to understand himself better. It was thrilled to see how happy and successful he'd grown up to be. Of course, growth and change didn't only occur for the people you knew most directly, it happened to everyone. A particularly exciting bit of news came in the form of an engagement announcement. Miranda's older brother Jude was proposed to by his longtime boyfriend, Scott Adam, the guy you know as Grant. Learning his actual name after all those years was almost incredible, finding out that you were getting married. After being long distance after a few years, Scott had moved to California to get a place with Jude. You even met him in person more than once when visiting Randy and Terry. Both men and the couple were welcoming whenever you come around. They loved to look out for Miranda and her little friends. They were in their 30s, so someone barely in their double decades was still a kid. But you counted them as friends of your own. They've sent you an official letter of invitation to their special day through the mail. Terry and Randy were obviously guests as well. Though it was something of a surprise when Cove ended up on the list. He didn't have a personal relationship with either groom. But Cove had attended Mary Eric events throughout his life, plus Jude and Scott weren't harsh enough to leave one member of the usual gang out. Now, the wedding was fast approaching. It was set to be a fantastic day with friends, family, and a celebration of the bonds that brought you all together. Unfortunately, making that plan a reality was easier said than done. The happy couple ended up in need of some help, a lot of it. You squinted into the afternoon sun on a quiet suburb street, one bag slung over your shoulder and a suitcase in hand. You arrived at the Adam Eric's household, your place of residence for the next week. About. It's been weeks since you started making plans to come down for the wedding. You weren't going to miss it. However, it was a one-day affair, and coming this far in advance was a last-minute request. Jude, Scott, Terry, Miranda, and the rest of the Erican clan had been putting on the wedding entirely themselves. They managed the DIY, or also known as do-yourself process, as best as they could over a few months. But it turns out arranging a marriage ceremony and reception was not on the same level as birthday parties, graduation celebrations, and family reunions. The date was nearly upon them, things weren't finished, and neither man wanted to lose the venue. With no way to magically conjure up more hours in a day, the solution was to have more hands on deck to finish the prep work. That was where you came in, and how you went from simply being a guest and sentenced to joining the official party planning posse. Honestly, planning a wedding seems so complicated, and it's great, and I want to have opinions, and if I ever get married myself, but it's just complicated. You were glad to do it for them. They have to come to your aid if you ever need something. Even if it took you a while to make it. Miranda was the first to come up to you, circling around from another side of the vehicle. She was just beaming. You hugged her around the side with your free hand. As much as you missed her, you had to dive into the car as soon as the van door opened at the pickup spot. This was your first chance to stand together face to face. Miranda squeezed herself against you, giggling with fresh excitement. It was like being a teen again. Aw, she looks... I love what they did with their hair. That shirt is beautiful. Oh. God, she looks gorgeous. Oh, I can get that for you. She reached toward the suitcase as she spoke her intentions. You've gotta be exhausted. It's fun. Like, the thing is, I would instinctively say it's fine. I'm not tired, but I'm saying, well, if you insist.
Yep.
I do. Hey, that's just Jude's and Scott's line. Luna. Last one out was Terry. He hopped from the driver's seat, ready for action. Let's all get this put away. Sounds like you want to put me back in a box or something.
Nah.
Not yet. We can't ship you back until the wedding's over. You chuckled, of course. You went for a hug. Terry threw an arm around your shoulder in response, pulling your head together. The stubble of his buzz-cut sides trickled your cheeks. Time to bring the party inside, Bubs. He didn't need you to say anymore. Miranda sped walked ahead, your suitcase in tow, her sun hat flapping from her firm, determined steps. She had a spare key to her brother's place. You all would have been stranded on the curb without her. Miranda got it unlocked, opened the door, and gestured for the others to come in. All three of you went inside. Mission accomplished. We successfully dropped off Luna. The reason you were crashing there was because Terry and Randy lived in a tiny city apartment, while Scott and Jude had an entire house. The extra space and free accommodations were big reasons you were able to do this to begin with. If you had to get a hotel room, the plan would have been shot. The downsides of living in a tourist-heavy area and getting married during the most popular season, but it worked out, and that's what mattered. The home was a chill and comfortable-looking place, as long as they imagined what it looked like without the absolute mess everywhere. The living room had obviously been co-opted into the base of operations for their crafting endeavors. Every inch of countertops and flat enough cushions were piled high with supplies. Thanks for coming to get me. No, thank you. You can relax or unpack or anything. Later today, we're going to meet up with Jude and Scott for dinner at the seaside seafood restaurants. Off to the side, Terry's arms folded with a mock seriousness.
So?
Technically, it's a business meeting to make the hiring official, but who cares? Not me, definitely not Jude, and Scott does care, but in the opposite way. He's going to be waiting for us. Besides, we're all part of this party planning group, so we gotta meet the MVP. Wait, they actually found a planner who'll do this job? Uh-huh. I still don't know how much he can do this late, but it's probably better to have somebody who knows what they're doing right. Exactly, Randy. It's coming together great. I hope so. Miranda sighed wearily. While you started your career on the committee approximately 5 minutes ago, it had already been a long journey for the rest of the crew. Wear and tear and frayed nerves were to be expected. However, your presence had lifted their spirits. Miranda perked up when she spoke again. I'll show you which room is yours, Luna. Cool. She escorted you upstairs. Terry lingered behind. You seemed you didn't need 2 people overseeing your unpacking.
See you.
You can use the restroom right across the hall for showers and everything. I'll give you some privacy, but you can always come downstairs if you wanna. See you soon. Bye. It was a relief not to rush out the door. You popped open the suitcase and began to settle in. You're also sure to text family and friends to let them know you made it there safely. After all that, you were able to rest. Your mind calmed and slowly it sunk that you were actually back in the area. You were home, kinda. It was one direction up the highway from that was Prim Vista City and the other Sunset Bird. That was the most unusual thing. You weren't in either of those locations, but it was a strange place between. As the sun began to set, a knock landed against the door. Terry called through. Dinner done. Nice. You got your phone off the charger and a few other things and joined up with Terry in the hall. Then both of you linked with Randy on the first floor. Once more, the 3 of you piled into Terry's van. He pulled out the driveway with great hassle. You were bound for another long-awaited reunion. It took about 20 minutes to reach the restaurant. The place had to be populated since the only open space was at the very end of the lot. You leisurely exited the vehicle and stretched into the warm air. Terry and Miranda ambled over, in no rush, until you glanced toward the building. Because they were there, right in front, the curly-haired June and the skeptical Scott. Neither of them were easy to miss on their own, and together they were unmistakable. Why I'm not surprised. Hey, Jude dude. Hi, Grant.
Hey!
Hi. Miranda took Terry's arm, dragging him across the tarmac. Whoa. You had to break into a light jog not to be left in the dust. The couple of the hour amicably greeted your little group. Hey! They look nice. Jude, Eric, and Scott Adam. Miranda's one and only brother was living the typical California software development dream. Jude's partner Scott was easily able to transfer his physical therapist's career to the new state when he moved. Both of them needed to take time completely off from their packed schedule lead up to the wedding. Miranda's workload was almost non-existent already. She was normally a teacher assistant while continuing her education. School is out for her students and herself. It was a bit more awkward for Terry, whose lifeguard service was high in demand during that season. But the whole team was committed to getting things done no matter what.
You made it.
You made it. That was the sort meant for everyone, but mainly Jude was talking about you. Scott made the special attention even more transparent. So nice seeing you, Luna. Congratulations on your almost wedding. You hit them both with the dual finger guns. They responded with laughter and friendly waves. Scott's enthusiastic flair looked all more frantic compared to Jude's single relaxed arc. And hello, Terry and Miranda. Scott finally addressed the other people there. Hi again. What are you doing? I thought you had a table. Her big brother answered with a carefree and perhaps careless smile.
Relax.
Relax. The other guy's holding it down for us.
Huh?
What? Jude, he left the new wedding planner by himself in the restaurant for who knows how long. Yeah. Miranda's gaze was withering. As sweet as she normally was, her siblings could test her patience like nobody else. But Jude's fiancé came in with an equally unapologetic defense.
It's okay.
He didn't mind. We had to be here to meet you. Besides, none of the real planning is happening today. It won't start until tomorrow. We're not missing anything. It's kind of awkward for the planner, though. Well, let's give him some company.
Good call.
Good call. This looks like a very nice restaurant. The meetup moved inside as everyone was filtering through. So it's the married couple, wedding planner plus 6 people. The meetup moved inside as everyone filtered into the fancy restaurants. Jude signaled to the host and gave a nod, recognized as someone who's already been seated. So your group passed on by to the seating area. Jude and Scott had already taken their places as the leaders of the squad, guiding the rest of you to the right place. Terry remained hot on their heels, so Miranda kept close to him. That left you bringing up the rear. Threading through the white cloth furniture, you noticed how most of them only had room for 2 to 4 people. Your party would be 6 in number, counting the planner. You had to be situated at the far end of the room because of that. The others came in to stop directly in front of the window, with a glorious view of the sun setting over the ocean. That must be the spots. You craned your neck over to see the small crowd of people, and you managed to catch a glimpse of the table. Why, hello there. Familiar face, I see. The young man was already seated, his legs crossed primly, and his chin resting ever so delicately against her hands. Swept hair and tailored suit spoke of a high level of care and attention to details. In the reddish light of the evening, his brown eyes shone like rich pools of dark honey, and on his neck was a distinct beauty mark, a living portrait of class. That was the wedding planner. You seem just super frustrated. Honestly, I'm torn between it was Baxter Warden. There's no way on earth you thought who it was. But I remember him. It was Baxter Ward. Here we are. This is everybody we got. My sister, her boyfriend, and her friends. Baxter's focus shifted away from the sea views to acknowledge his clients. Seeing the new company, he has already lidded eyebrows narrow further. The softness in his smile pinched. Of course. You were that delightful older brother Miranda's. Why wouldn't you be? The vague comment didn't pass Jude for a second. He was incredulous in an instant.
What?
Do you know Miranda? Well, no elaboration. He brushed it off with an extra brush through his hair. But Terry caught on at the implication and chimed in. Randy, recognize this guy? I am... She faltered in a similar way, unable to commit to denying, but not able to confirm either. You couldn't see the faces of your friends. They huddled together to discuss with Miranda in a way that gave you a clearer view of Baxter. He was demurely scrutinizing the reactions, tapping fingers against his cheek and gauging what to do next. Oh god, this is... Honestly, I'm torn between maybe you would recognize him if he was wearing white and black, and here I thought you were never coming back to your UT. I think I'm gonna go with this. And here I was. I thought you were never coming back, sir, you teased. Baxter's palms cracked against the tabletop. He abruptly stood, almost knocking the chair over. It was entirely out of place with the restrained countenance you've always known Baxter to maintain. At his full height, he searched past the others and finally saw the last person attending this meeting. You. Miranda gasped. Terry shouted.
Yeah!
Baxter? Baxter's his name, yep. How did you know this dude? The pointed question was shot your way. You corrected himself, lifting a hand to assure you it was fine to forget.
Hey!
How do you know my little sister? Jude's newly directed the interrogation toward who he considered to be the real problem. Baxter stared into your face. He breathed deeply and steadily. You say, I want to say step forward, but I feel like it'd be better if I stayed rooted in place. It became disconcertingly quiet after the initial explosion reaction. The sounds of the other guests chatted over their meals, the clinking of silverware, servers bustling about, it all vanished. Were other people even still in the room? It was impossible to tell. You couldn't even move to check. Then the moment passed. Baxter grinned wide and ran his hands down the silky edge of his jacket to smooth it out. A familiar gesture for calming his nerves.
Life is full of unexpected coincidences,
Different voice actor. As you might vaguely remember, my name is Baxter Ward. With a casual flip of his wrist, Baxter gave a brief account of your shared history. So, we are 23 now, because we were 18. So, mid-20s. 5 years ago, I stayed in Sunset Bird for the summer vacation during a semester off in college. We spent a bit of time together then. By we, I mean the three of you, along with one other. Cove was his name, if I believe.
I apologize.
There it is. Now, in hopes of starting off on the right foot, let me apologize for my younger self. I was incredibly rude in how we ultimately parted ways.
I understand.
And I understand entirely if this is awkward. Just know that I am open to any ideas on how to accommodate working together. I'm fully committed to ensuring that Mr. Eckhart and Mr. Adam have a wonderful wedding. That is the only reason why I'm here. You clocked what Baxter was doing immediately. He was placing distance, making this as impersonal as possible. Not a hint of warmth or familiarity could be seen in his sharp features, even if his was apologizing for what he did. It was as a professional courtesy. Baxter Ward had magically reappeared right before, in front of your eyes after 5 years, and he was still completely unreachable.
Huh.
It was certainly a revelation for the betrothed. Every person they enlisted to help with the wedding was part of some past social group. Is there a problem with this? Terry, Miranda, Luna? They attempted to prompt a response from all of you.
Huh?
The other, normally happy couple in the group shared an uneasy glances. It's not like Baxter did anything to me, but...
Is that all right?
That's a nice thing to say, though. Their former friendship with Baxter had been tentative. Whether they could accept or not came down to the one who vouched for him the most originally, and the one who had the hardest time being near him now. This seems like a good time for a fresh
I
start.
appreciate the understanding.
I appreciate that. He didn't doubt how grateful he was to let bygones be bygones, even if his smile couldn't reach his eyes. Terry and Randy brightened properly, and that had the domino effect, putting relieved smiles on the faces of Jude and Scott as well. The mood was salvaged. Here. Baxter coolly moved the conversation along. The sooner the topic had nothing to do with his personal life, the better. I've got business cards for you. It has ways to contact me. Email, phone, the usual. Baxter didn't attempt to pass them out directly. Instead, he delicately placed a stack of cards on the table. There was a stark white, the fancy cloth. They were such a stark white, the fancy cloth that rested looked dingy. Sleek black cursive was printed across the front. Very formal. Next, Baxter retrieved a small black phone from his pockets. Black and white cards and a black phone. It could be a coincidence. These color choices normally express a lack of interest in displaying any personality, especially with businessmen. Yet a part of you wondered if it was a reference to his unique way he utilized those shades in the past.
What do you think?
If possible, I could use your phone and you could use your numbers. That would be useful for keeping everyone informed. There's a group chat for the wedding planning. I won't text you. There's a group chat for the wedding planning. I won't text you privately. Got it, boss? For the second time with Terry and the first time for Miranda, numbers were exchanged with Baxter. Thank you. My number's the same. You should already have it, he mentioned casually. That stalled him. It wasn't intended as a slight, but it did make you curious. Did he delete your contact? It remains a mystery because he refused to get into the weeds. Baxter's planner persona wouldn't crack again. Would you mind sharing it anyways? It'd be for the best. You told him your number. That was fine. He tapped away the screen as he listed the sequence before returning the phone to his side.
It's settled.
Thank you for your cooperation. It's settled. One final black and white object appeared from Baxter's pockets, his wallet, which held a green $10 bill, which he put next to the business cards. Please use this for my coffee. I'll take my leave. Wait, you're going? We haven't even ordered. I don't want to intrude on a meal between friends and family. We've met. He tugged at his collar over that understanding. We exchanged numbers, and the first official planning meeting was arranged before the others arrived. I'll leave you to catch up and discuss your next steps on your own terms. I'll see some, or perhaps all of you soon.
Take care.
Have a nice evening. After a polite incline of his head, Baxter slipped out of the corner through the gap in the crowd. It was only a matter of seconds, and he was gone again. You almost could have believed that you hallucinated the entire encounter. The floral scent that lingered behind was in your mind. That money could have come from anywhere. Maybe Mr. Holden had been nearby. That was easier to wrap your head around the actual reality, except for the piece of undeniable proof. He left his business cards. As it said printed in ink, Baxter Ward, a wedding planner, was a real entity. Miranda and Terry both took one each for future reference or idle curiosity. He kept his number saved even after 5 years. Did he have a new number those days? He peered down at the little piece of cardstock. You took the card to check the number. Your friends remained solemnly silent. You must have had a lot on your mind, and they were right. However, Scott, in his own way of being well-meaning, much louder way. I knew it was too good to find someone who'd do this on such short notice. It was odd in my opinion.
Did he bully you as a teenager?
Did he bully you? It's okay to say so. Of all the conclusions Scott could have come to, that option you hadn't been prepared for. Neither was anyone else. Terry snorted at the concept of Baxter being a bully. He clapped his hands over his face, the business cards covering one eye. This was serious, and he couldn't be laughing. Terry and Miranda remembered how Baxter dumped you after one season, never talked to any of you again. And they knew how you felt about that. They were there. They saw what you went through in his wake firsthand. But Judge and Scott clearly didn't grasp the circumstance. Randy could keep things private. Real life me wouldn't want to rehash it, but being honest for the story, you'll tell them now. It'd be good for everyone to be aware of the whole story. There's next. Where are the contact? I'm torn between he wasn't my bully, he's my ex, and he was merely a suitor for the season. In other words, a guy who left me. I'm gonna go, he was merely a suitor for the season. In other words, a guy who left me. That's what he meant by being incredibly rude. He dropped you?
I'm sorry.
Luna, I'm sorry. You shouldn't be treated like that. Thank you. They were great guys. It was reassuring to know that they were on your side, and it made you glad you couldn't be there for them, too. Jude and Scott deserving the best wedding physically possible. Those mix-up thoughts on Baxter and the plan, past interactions, and present circumstances brought one particular memory to the surface of your minds. You couldn't forget it. That was scathing a line he fed to you as part of his rationalization for shutting you out cold. Kept it a secret. The working relationship didn't need further strain. We should focus on the wedding, though. What happened in the past doesn't mean you two have to put your plans aside. You sure? Yeah, I'm here to help. Just let me know how. He hesitated. Jude put a hand on his shoulder, and Scott was able to accept your words.
You're sure?
Then that's what we'll do. So, before you made it, me, Jude, and Baxter decided to meet up tomorrow morning. We have an appointment at his office all penciled in. I'd like you to be there too if you can. Tomorrow morning?
Sorry.
Yeah, Mr. Ward recommended it. That way there'll be as much time as possible afterwards to make what was planned happen. Sorry to spring it on you. It was Baxter's idea?
Uh-huh.
Yep, he's got a point. Not like we got time to lose. How would that go, you had to wonder. What happened last time you tried to do something early with Baxter? Appeared clear as morning sky in your mind's eye. Of course, that was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll be there. Aye. Right, that's fine with me. There's a special moment to people who matter to you. It was a point of pride to be one small part of it. And then Miranda kindly pointed out that this get-together was in a restaurant and it could still be used for its intended purposes. It was a much appreciated suggestion. You spent a few moments focused entirely on which delicious meal to have. No stakes, no pressure. The waiter returned, each person put in a request for dinner, and that was it. Menus were taken away and you only needed to wait. In a relative privacy of a back corner, he subtly dropped his fist onto the table as if calling a meeting.
Nah.
Baxter wasn't playing black and white. I never thought I'd see the day.
Wow.
Baxter is a wedding planner? Miranda blurted out her own non-sequitur with an equal amazement. Makes sense he ended up as an event planner. No, yeah, I totally agree. Baxter is perfect to do that, but it almost makes it weirder. It's like someone made it up because it sounds reasonable. Well, anyways, I'm so happy it's almost your wedding. Staring shy and building up more cheer, Miranda attempted to express her happiness for her big brother and his soon-to-be husband.
So great.
Thanks.
Thanks, Randy. Oh, thank you, Miranda.
Agreed.
That's right. It's time to celebrate. Congrats, my man and other man. Even though the final destination were many trials away, it was still shining on the horizon. You'll make it there, and you were certain of that. Cheers to the couple. The conversation was abuzz with excitement for the event to come. For now, anything sounded possible. Food soon arrived, and the topic switched again. You caught up on how things were going on with each other overall, and how your trip went, and all things besides the opaque man who left early. You had a great time with your friends. Glad to be back. When the meal was over, goodbyes were exchanged. Terry and Miranda had to go back to their apartment, while Jude and Scott were going to take you to their house. The party planning committee broke into two teams. After Terry was After Terry was talked out of giving special codenames to the groups, with the promise of reuniting early the next day. Tomorrow morning, the work would officially begin. At the house, your host gave you a special space to finish sorting your things along with your thoughts. Eventually, you tucked clothes from your suitcase in a total haze. It was dark outside, and indoors, the artificial lighting blurred around the corners of your eyes. Eventually, your phone lit up repeatedly. Plucking it off the side table where it had been charging, you checked to see what came in it. It was the promised group chat. Baxter had messaged you, but also Miranda and Terry. June and Scott could see it as well, of course. They were the original members. Hello, welcome to this landing chat all. This is Baxter. Thank you again for assisting with the wedding prep. Our first meeting is tomorrow at 9 a.m. You can call or text if anything comes up or if the appointment isn't possible. See you soon. The short stream of text ended up with a copy-paste of the exact address for his office. It was pleasantly detached, as if you expect from a stranger you met briefly once, and in the context of him providing a service for monetary compensation. But that wasn't the relationship you had. It could only be ignored, not erased. You hadn't even tried. Kept his number, and after all this time, it appeared again. Baxter's contacts hadn't changed. It was the exact same one you'd got in the summer of 2016. Still had a history together. Your fingers began to move before your consciousness mind caught up with what was happening. You opened your old logs. Last time Baxter texted you personally was 5 years ago. Seeing the most recent message was nostalgic. It was when you arranged the beach trip with everyone. You'd been the one who suggested Baxter come, and the texts were shot back and forth to get it worked out. That day ended up being even more of an event than planned, with ice creams and sprinklers and fireworks. So much of what you got to experience was because you had been there. You still liked him, and you still wanted to be with him. You let out a long, slow breath and dropped the phone. It was impossible to get away from the black and white boy in your memories, or the person you currently existed. An appointment was set to see him in less than 12 hours. So it's after 9 p.m. He was gone and he was there. Baxter Ward was simply an inexorable part of your life. I'm torn between calling Liz and calling Cove. I feel like if I was in this situation, I would call Cove. And not Cove, Liz. From entirely abandoned contact to one of your most frequently used numbers, you hit Liz's name on your phone. Big sisters were made for moments like these, and I completely agree. Because this is just one of those times. There were plenty to think about the seconds as the dial tone played. She wouldn't be attending the wedding. Miranda was just your friend, and only acquaintance of hers. She never met Jude or Scott in person. Liz had no idea what was going on over here, and never would unless you said so, and so you would. Screen changed. She answered.
Hey.
Aw, I love how her hair is styled. Hey, kiddo. What a sound for your sore ears, even if she came right out of the gate with teasing you. Survived your journey? That's good to know. Yes, you're welcome. Hey, Liz. She laughed, and you could easily imagine her tossing her head back. Well, how's it going? That pleasantry was more complicated the question than she knew. It was going, that's for sure, but you got to the straight core points. Jude and Scott, the couple I'm helping, hired a wedding planner. It's Baxter Ward. You inserted as much thrill and intrigue as possible in the rush statements. Her answer was a single flat word. Who? That Victorian emo boy, Pepe Le Pew, you know?
Seriously?
That loser? He's a wedding planner now? Yes. She processed this over a silent minute, and the conclusion was exceptional. Well, I guess who else would want to spend their time absorbed in the fancies of life's events than a guy who acted like every day was a grand ball? Are you gonna be okay? It's been a long time, but there's no deadline for getting over clowns again. Would it be more appropriate to say mimes because of the black and white look? Liz, it's fine, and he doesn't wear only black and white. Alright. I now regret not getting an invitation to that wedding. I had to be there for this. It would have been nice to have you around. Yes, it would. You two siblings spent more time chatting, but eventually had to wrap things up. We had an early morning on the horizon. After a playful bye, kiddo, listened to the call. You placed the phone down for good. You've been tempting to make another call, but you need to get to bed. Rest was the priority. It's been an eventful enough day already. You finished your trip there. You came to face with Baxter Ward after 5 years, and the Weir War hadn't started yet. And with that, I think this is probably a good place where we are going to save this episode. I hope you guys have a good day, night, week, month of your lives, and may the stars forever guide your path wherever they might lead you into the future. Goodbye, and hope to see you guys again soon.